Kai. That's Matt. That's Jim. Man, I'm excited to talk college basketball. I'm back in Chicago. I got my background back with me. Feels good. I'm in my rhythm right now. Jim, I'm spotting up. Just give me the rock in the corner. Let me shoot that three. Get yourself an assist. I'll hit it. What'd you see yesterday? Takeaways. Let's go.
Well, Kai, the problem for you, though, is you're not going to be right twice a day anymore because you don't have a broken clock behind you.
True.
So it's tough.
It would help if I was right more than twice a day. It generally
would be great in this particular industry. First takeaway, Iowa has major problems. And I think the biggest thing that bothers me is that their defense was horrible against Eastern Illinois and their offense was horrible yesterday. So it's not like we got one thing to fix, sort out. It's multiple issues for them. They got work to do. And FAU's for real. I don't know if I'm stealing that from Matt. I am
you did.
so into those Owls.
Yep.
My goodness, can't stop upgrading them. I know they only have like 2 big wins now, but they're 2 huge ones on the road, and they won playing North Texas's game yesterday. That was super impressive.
Yeah, the Owls are awesome. The only blemish on their resume is that loss to Ole Miss, which is not a bad loss at all. Hopefully they can get in there and avoid any landmines in the Conference USA. Yeah, I mean, Iowa, I think we all thought would curb, right? But I think the sharp decline recently is what's been surprising, even with the injuries. Kind of feel like that system was almost agnostic to such a swoon, but here we are. Kai, final bow on my takeaway / hijacking of Jim takeaway. Butler, what was that effort? It wasn't. That was an effort problem yesterday.
Indeed. The first half was.
It's really weird. It looked like last year's Butler team, which is not what we expected. So that's 3 straight 20-plus point losses to start Big East play for Butler. That's yikes. You played 2 really good teams. You played Providence. Providence has been really good this year, but still not great for the Butler Bulldogs. I also wrote down Iowa panic mode ? Clickbait. We'll see. Yeah, that loss wasn't great to Nebraska.
Jim. So Jim, behind the scenes, started making a no bet team list. I'm going to add Providence to that list. Like last that wasn't a lucky one. Yeah, the no fade list. Yeah, so please write that down. It's not like a lucky one when you win by 40, but it's on there. Okay, good.
It's not on there yet, but I will add
it will be.
Right now, it's Chicago State, Marshall
every shot
Totals,
just goes in,
Middle Tennessee,
and every shot against them just rattles in and out. They just have this weird, it's a real mojo. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Kai, onto the show. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's press forward. Let's look ahead, guys. Good attitudes here. Friday. It's fantastic. ACC basketball is happening now with Pitt UNC. We'll talk the other game today. Well, one of the other games. Miami at Notre Dame. Matt, 2 teams in very different spots right now. The Canes are 3-0 in the ACC, can take a commanding lead in the conference with a win. Notre Dame hanging on to a thread. They're 0-2 in league play. What do you think?
I thought the line was a little bit high. Like I kind of wanted to bet Miami here.
It's minus 2.5. Yeah.
Minus 2.5. So Miami is short road favorite, but maybe I just haven't really discounted. I don't know. So Notre Dame just beat Jacksonville pretty handily. Like the Irish are on the precipice of like, man, I think they're not that great, but then they have enough good games at the right times where I'm just like, okay, they're not that bad. So I don't know, Jim. I lean toward Miami. I look at the backcourts here. I just see a huge edge towards the Canes. But again, not the right price for me to back them.
Yeah, this should be a monster O'Meara game. Like we worry about him going up to ACC play. Well, he's got no ACC bigs to contest with on the other side. He's going to probably eat in the paint. But to your point, we got an 0-2 team versus 3-0. There should be a little more desperation on Notre Dame's side. I'm worried the Jacksonville effort was helped by Jacksonville having terrible travel. I know they had one flight canceled to get up to the Midwest and had to deal with that. However, Notre Dame has beaten Miami and covered 4 straight, Kai. Mike Bray might have a little bit of Larinaga's number there. 4 of the last 5 have gone under. It's just hard to anticipate this Notre Dame defense stopping this Miami offense. That's what kind of scares me. So I would lean towards the Irish, but man, it's just not a team I'm really excited to back right now.
That's interesting, Jim. I don't subscribe to a lot of trends, but one I do kind of pay attention to is coach versus coach against the spread record. There are certain coaches that simply own others. We used to have a pretty deep dive into this back in the day. Wow, I did not realize that about Mike Bray. But frankly, I think Notre Dame's pretty bad. I do chalk up that Jacksonville win to a lot of Jacksonville's issues with travel. I don't think Mike March played in that game either. He's one of their best players. They have a short bench. They have very little athleticism, very little physicality. I think I have a gut lean here to Miami. I don't give a whole lot of respect to that home court either. So that's the way I lean today. I did not play it. We'll see what happens. NC State at Clemson is the other ACC contest. Clemson is 2-0 in the ACC, Jim. Set up for an okay at-large resume right now. Solid team. NC State's looking to get back to 500. Still have a chance at the tourney. pretty good two offensive teams here. Spreads 2. What do you think?
Yeah, it's so weird that Clemson is just like this offensive team now. They're not a grind you into half court defense, like which has always been Brownell's calling card. This team's full of shooters. The problem is their best shooter, Alex Hemingway, might be hurt, might be limited. We don't know if he's going to play or how much he'll play. I think that matters. I also don't know if Clemson can stop NC State off the bounce. The Joyner, Terquavian Smith, those guys can get into the lane. I don't think of Clemson as having blanketing perimeter defenders this time around. So Matt, I actually lean towards NC State here. I didn't get excited about it though. I did not bet it. These two teams are both tough for me to figure out, especially NC State. They've been whack-a-mole for me and fading, betting, and losing both sides.
Yeah, I mean, Clemson has too, for that matter. I think a key dynamic here, or we'll see, maybe it's nothing, is the fact that NC State's season was ended by Clemson last year. I think there's a little bit of revenge on the mind of the Wolfpack, and I did lean their way. Like, I think the number, my numbers have this price pretty spot on, but I looked at it just, without that prior in my mind. It's like, God, I think NC State's just the better team here. So catching a couple of courtesy points on the road, it feels like pretty good spot, Kai. So I do lean their way, but nothing for me.
Yeah, I trust Clemson more. I trust Clemson, but NC State is dangerous. They're a high variance team. With those guards, it's kind of like St. John's. This team can definitely beat anybody, but they can also lose in spectacular fashion. Alex Hemingway is probably still out for Clemson. They can survive without him, but it is something to consider when looking at this game, especially at a short spread like this. I think Clemson does have a great home court. That's one reason to maybe side with the Tigers here. -2, pretty short spread. I kind of lean towards Clemson. But
Matt, you fear Little John, don't you? You fear.
I hate Little John. I hate it.
As you should.
I hate it.
Next game here, Pac-12 country. We got a couple here, double back-to-back from the same states. Wow, how cool. UCLA at Wazoo, Washington State. Matt, UCLA looks awesome. Final Four contender, title contender. And Wazoo looks awful. They're out of sorts. What's up with Kyle Smith? Is this number too high, or heck, is UCLA going to blow them out?
Number is too high for sure, but I actually wrote this up for action. I'm going to back UCLA here. I just threw the number out completely. I'm like Gatorade believer all the way through, but coming back from Hawaii is part of this handicap for me. I think that's going to be a detriment to the home Cougars. Just the roster has been in shambles all year, right? Like they just got Yakisimov back last game. He's really important, but they're now, Jim, how do you say it? I was going to butcher that. How do you say it?
Yakimovsky.
Yakimovsky. He's actually a really good player. Thank you, Kai. That's the official pronunciation. Webster's. All that is to say, there's been no continuity of this roster, and Washington State looks really, really out of sorts on offense on the island. They're going to come back and then all of a sudden get right for UCLA, who's been a comet lately. I don't buy that. I think UCLA kind of dominates here. I really do.
Yeah, I was relatively impressed with Wazoo covering against Baylor, but I'm kind of looking more at that and thinking that's about Baylor's issues and their lack of health in the backcourt, and they're just not really that dynamic this year. Maybe Wazoo's a better underdog. They were favored most of the time out on the island. Shot quality was more generous to Wazoo's results out there than the actual ones, but what I watched was like, no, Wazoo's bad. Like they have problems. They don't know what to do offensively. They don't have enough creators. They don't have anybody off the dribble that really scares you. They've got some decent matchups for Jaquez. If you throw Bamba or Hounsou or Yakimovsky or even Rodman on him, like those are guys that can guard him a little bit.
Yep.
But I just don't really like the vibes around Wazoo right now. The lack of continuity and, like I said, lack of creator. Kai, that kept me away. I did agree the number was like a hair high, but I'm just scared of the matchup.
Jim, quick insertion. Sorry, Kai.
No, it's okay.
I love a quick insertion from you, Matt.
Boom. Butler, Washington State, two teams that have the wrong guy playing point guard. I think it should be Bamba for Washington State, and I think it should be Luz Koshish for Butler.
Koshish. Yes.
I
took Wazoo +9, guys. I'll be honest. I thought it was just too high. Look, they have 5-6 days to recover from the Hawaii trip. I don't know how long. I've never been to Hawaii. I heard it's lovely, but I don't know how long you stay jet lagged from that trip. These guys are young and in shape. I do admit, though. Yeah.
I tend to think the Hawaii thing's less bad for West Coast. Like, you're not going that far.
Yeah.
But like George Washington, that's a team that might struggle with it.
Washington State, second unluckiest team in America per KenPom. If you buy into that sort of thing, maybe I do, maybe I don't. Could be a reason not to take them, honestly. These teams tend to stay there. I don't like the bet. I bet it's small. But, man, they need this like blood right now. They absolutely need this win. The last time these two teams played in Pullman, Wazoo won in 2021. Little note there. Go Cougs. Need to handle the ball, need to compete on the glass. USC at Washington is our next one. This game is also in the state of Washington. Jim, I always laugh at USC every season because with the exception of 2021 when Evan Mobley was there, Enfield is basically 50-60 in KenPom. He wins 20-plus games. He finishes top 4 in the Pac-12, yada, yada, yada. They're 10-3 this year. They're 2-0 in the Pac-12, and they're 66th in KenPom. It's another typical USC year. Yeah, who do you like tonight against Washington?
We call it the Enfield zone, right? From
Enfield zone.
45 through 65. That's the Enfield zone.
The Enfield.
Yep. The Enfield Cooley zone. The Enfield have a very big middle there.
Yeah, exactly. USC's won 5 straight against Washington, so straight up. That matters a little bit. The last 2 Washington's actually got inside the number and covered. Those are obviously very bad Washington teams over the past couple of years. But I was surprised. I thought maybe USC would struggle more with zone stuff than they have, I guess, having won 5 straight. They don't strike me as a great zone team, but they have a little more shooting. Drew Peterson's a solid playmaker. You can stick at the free throw line. He's actually smart enough to spray the ball around the shooters. So I didn't really have anything with this one, Matt. Again, 2 Pac-12 teams I don't fully trust either side of. Not a huge fan of decision-making and shot selection of both coaches, so I stayed away.
Yeah, my Pac-12 takes are really poor this year. Like I kind of had a lean towards Stanford last night, and I was like, that feels wrong. And sure enough, it was dead wrong. I have a similar hard lean toward USC. Doesn't feel right just because of, life on the road, and the Pac-12 can always be kind of a fun house mirror of sorts. So you just don't know what you're going to get from any of these teams. But I think USC is just the better team. I kind of like this USC team. They've been a little bit, I think, undervalued recently. I think their defense is all the way legit. They are sporadic on offense, but I think there's some talent there, some shot making where if they're hitting, they can play to a pretty high level. Question is it tonight, all Christmas break in the Northwest against some zone? That's what's dicey.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this team, and I kind of agree with Jim. I know the numbers, but there shouldn't be a great zone team, right? They're shooting poorly from 3 this year, or at least
it's below like everybody but Boogie's bad.
Yeah, and they don't look to shoot 3s. It's not what they prefer to do.
They haven't gotten on the glass, right? Yeah, they haven't rebounded.
They're not a great offensive rebounding team either. They shouldn't be a very good zone team. Now, Washington without Kepnang hasn't been great since he got injured, been out for a while. So you can't really trust the Huskies either. I had a slight lean towards them, but I'm staying all the way. Can't put my money on Mike Hopkins right now. Chat Mob, part 1. Let's do it.
Oh, that's me. Mr. Czar. A lot of extra questions today, guys. I don't really have a ton of great, profound takes, but hey, that's why I'll be dishing them to my sharpshooters. Kai, you're getting the first assist. Scott H. Stetson at Lipscomb, -7. The Bisons, thoughts? Feels high, but Lipscomb's just awesome.
It feels a little high. Stetson's not a bad team. I love the A-Sun this year. It's fantastic. I did not bet this game. I lean towards Stetson.
Jim, Boston Navy, fun little Patriot League showdown. A short spread here, and this game tips, I believe, in 30 minutes. Boston laying a deuce to the midshipmen. Your thoughts?
Matt, where do you think I'm going here?
To the military academy of our ships.
Water troops, baby.
Yeah,
I'm getting on boarding the ships with the water troops. I think they change defenses and frustrate a BU team that's had some weird bad efforts this year. That tournament in Milwaukee was horrific for them. And I trust T'Chellis and the Navy boys.
Kai, here's a bet where I looked at the last opponent of Texas A&M. They play Northwestern State, and I was like, A&M's bad and Northwestern State's good. Just bet Northwestern State. Now they're playing Prairie View, who I think is pretty good. And they're like 17. Like, why are we not fading A&M every game here? Probably should.
I would lean towards Prairie View. It's again, this year high variance teams. Prairie View A&M is a high variance team.
They are.
It's just frustrating betting on these teams because they can lose by 30 pretty easily and you feel like an idiot, or they can compete most of the way like they did against Northwestern and you feel really smart. Texas A&M, no point in laying 17.5 or over 15 with them right now. I would lean towards the Panthers.
Jim, incarnate word Commerce. I couldn't have fewer takes on this game. Kind of a weird spot for Commerce coming off the Texas game where they kind of got boat raced there, but not surprisingly.
So I need to look at exactly what the numbers were yesterday, but I really like these new teams playing their first conference game. Southern Indiana collapsing and pushing, notwithstanding. I think the teams coming up or changing leagues by and large are a pretty decent bet. I think Commerce comes in and is locked in and maybe just, hard to figure out. Nobody's seen them yet. There's more tape out there in Incarnate. So I kind of lean
towards the phones.
Commerce.
Is this game Saturday?
It is. I have handicapped Saturday, so I had thoughts on my mind. I didn't know which one it was, but
that's awesome. I shouldn't even brought that up. People will just be ready to go for tomorrow. Love that, Kai. We're not going to look at any more Saturday games, but let's talk about
one. We're skipping
tonight.
That one in the chat tomorrow. We're not talking Commerce.
That's pretty funny.
A game tonight, North Alabama versus Jacksonville State. Kai, you are a weird believer in Jacksonville State. I don't see it. And NAU's been awesome lately. The Lions have been roaring.
I took it small at -6. I think Jacksonville State's going to get it together in a some play. Now, their recent effort against a non-D1 team did not make me feel good, but Ray Harper is a really good coach. They pretty much dominated this league last year, and I think they can finish towards the top again. So I lean towards Jacksonville State.
I want to see Peyton Daniels back for them. He was really good early, important. And he's been
pretty
out,
important.
So we'll see. Maybe league play, he's back.
All right, let's get one more thing back to the outline. Colgate versus Loyola from Matt B. Colgate heading on the road to the DC area, Baltimore area, I suppose, laying a touchdown. Kai, felt kind of high to me. I think
I'm hogging the ball here.
Jim's hogging it. Okay, Jim wants to go.
Colgate is one of the best ATS teams in the country in league play over the last 3 years. They just kind of turbo these teams. When they don't have an athletic disadvantage, they crush teams, and they don't have an athletic disadvantage against Loyola Maryland. So I would lean towards Colgate. I also took the under small in them.
Jim, I thought the same thing against Cornell earlier, but Cornell's just awesome. They're like just an outlier. They defy all logic.
Fit into
They don't make any
Cornell
sense.
Is on fading. Cornell is on the do not bet list.
Brian Earl does weird things with like me, you, and Kai. All right, back to the show.
Next game, Siena at Quinnipiac, a MAC battle. First thing you have to know in this game is McCollum's status for Siena. He is highly important. He is their best player. He is their point guard. He is a game-time decision today, though Siena was just fine without him against American. Jim, I think Siena's pretty good. They scored some key wins, but Quinnipiac has objective upside, experienced, skilled guards, and they're 0-2 right now in the MAC. Who do you like in this game?
Quinnipiac's been tough for me. I've just kind of traditionally been low on them year after year, and sometimes it burns me, sometimes it looks great. I would lean towards Siena, though. Basically, with McCollum, if he's in, I'll bet Siena. If he's out, I'll bet the under. So that's kind of where I'm going to land on that one, Matt. How's that hit you?
No, I was wanting to bet Siena here. I thought his line's a little bit high, to be honest, but I was
Is Quinnipiac better than Siena?
I don't know. Right, I'm not
without
convinced.
McCollum, I think so. Yeah,
I think I'm with Kai. I think McCollum's been kind of a game changer. Like, I don't think they run a ton of really great offense, and they rely a lot of like we need to make one-on-one individual plays in late shot clock settings, and McCollum is like awesome with that. He just like can make something out of nothing whenever he wants, basically in this conference. So I think that matters.
Matt, your boy Courtwright's been out for Quinnipiac too. So
he has been. They have more guards though that I trust on Quinnipiac's side, and they actually have a pretty good front line. I should bet Siena, and I'm not, and I don't know why. I think the McCollum thing, as Kai mentioned, is what's scaring me away.
Yes.
That's it.
But if he's out, I think the under is a good bet. I'll reiterate that.
Quinnipiac has not beaten Siena since 2020, February 2020. Ooh. They didn't play during COVID season, so a little bit of a caveat there. I think it's the Bobcats game. I think the line's pretty much about right. They have solid athletes and talent. And Nweka, pretty good matchup for Stormo, Siena center. Matt, pretty funny. You mentioned Boston Navy. That's on the outline. I'm going to put 70% blame on you. I'm going to throw the rest on me and Jim.
Yeah, take 50. Yeah,
I'll throw 70 on you, though, as the chat.
That's fine.
Okay. We'll talk about it a little bit more. I'll add my thoughts on that game as well. Please North Dakota State, though, at North Dakota is where we're going next. It's a summit game. Boy, North Dakota State has been one of the most disappointing teams in the country. I bought into Dave Richmond, Matt, as a coach, but the lack of D1 experience has been a huge issue for them. They're not athletic. They're very bad on both ends. And I think North Dakota is a pretty well-coached team. They've had their moments of competency this year. In a normal year, the spread's nuts. I'm taking the Bison, but not this year. I'm staying away. What do you think, Matt?
Yep, I agree. This is one where it's similar to the St. Thomas South Dakota State game, South Dakota game last night, where it's like, really, South Dakota's only a 1-point favorite. They're a dog, basically. That's how I feel about this matchup. North Dakota State. To me, it's early conference game. They're 0-2. Everything just sets up for like this is the time to bet the Bison, who, by the way, have at least shown evidence of being able to be good, right? Like the win at Portland certainly will age well, even though Portland looks a little bit in disarray right now. But all that said, Jim, didn't bet it. Just don't trust it. This perimeter group does not excite me at all for the Bison.
I bet it. I bet North
Good
Dakota
for
State.
you.
I'm trying to catch the falling knife here, reaching out, trying to get the handle and not cut myself. The I guess what you mentioned with the Portland win, I think is important. That shred of confidence matters. I hope they shoot like South Dakota. Matt, you compared this to South Dakota yesterday. South Dakota couldn't miss a three. I hope North Dakota State has that same thing. Oh, I didn't bet South Dakota yesterday. Yeah. I wish I had.
I'm sure someone did. Good for you. That's great.
Yeah, no, I'm going to cling to the super underperformer in the non-con, almost the way you had Oakland yesterday. I think North Dakota State will be a little bit better, despite being 0-2 in league play so far. Big rivalry, by the way.
Yeah, man, I'm so jealous of Matt's Oakland bet yesterday. You know,
he
caught the falling knife, and when you do that, it feels really good.
It does.
Yeah, you start juggling them
right on the handle.
I'll add my Navy Boston U thoughts here and throw it to Matt for maybe some of his as well. I'm sure he has plenty. Navy's very feast or famine on offense. 4th in the country in 3-point percentage, 2nd to last in free throw rate. It's a jump shooting team. Cold nights spell doom. They can also blow you out by 30. It's pretty much like this. Boston's beating no one this year. Betting on them can cause great pain. Walter White, though, could be the best player on the floor. Backcourt strong, zinc solid in the post. I lean towards Boston, actually. Navy swept them last year, probably has their number. But I did lean towards BU here. Matt.
I think Navy's the better team.
They are the better team. That's why this spread's
but I think they're better. I think that's a misprice just from that angle, but I think the spot is what's better for Boston. I just think in this early conference setting, I think you get a really good traditional circa 2021, 2022, 2020 Jeff Jones Boston game here. And they had a lot of those veterans that have been there for 8 years.
Joe Jones.
Yeah. Joe Jones. Sorry. The other Jones.
James brother. Just to mention, Navy got blown out by VCU last game, but we think they had flu, right?
Definitely, yeah.
So that was part of that. They got Austin Inge back in that game, backup point guard. But man, their freshman Austin Benini has been really good. DeChellis raves about him preseason to me. It's really rare that they play freshmen a lot of minutes. He's just that good. So I kind of like Navy. I think they should be favored. I'm a midi today. Water Troops.
Last game on the outline. It's a Patriot game. It's American at Lafayette. Woo! Exciting contest here. I love Lafayette. They're ridiculously tough. They slow the game way down. They launch threes. It's an awesome strategy for a team that doesn't, frankly, have a lot of talent. They just beat LaSalle by 25 because they hit so many threes. They're just 2-11 overall, Jim, but they're 9-4 against the spread. Do you have a lean on the side or the total in this game?
I have a lean on the total, Kai. In fact, I have a best bet on the total. Boom. Under 121.5 is my best bet. 2 of the 5 slowest teams on offense in the country. Neither one is going to have a possession where they quick fire it up, especially Lafayette. Kai, you mentioned how good they are against the spread. I think it's because they shorten the game and shooting threes. Matt, that's your giant killer formula right there. They've been a really good underdog in non-con play because of that. Almost won at Miami, really we scared them, covered at St. John's. They've been really solid, but against American, another team that's going to sit there in the half court and kind of stall it out and have hoping for a lot of shot clock violations here. I think there might be 3 to 5 on each side of the court. So in a rock fight, I'll take that under 121.5.
I think you got 122, Jim, if you want it.
Oh, I love 122, okay. Kai. I love it.
Yeah, take that extra half.
Please.
Matt, what do you think?
Nothing really profound here for me. I don't know. Yeah, what's the total right now? I feel like this is a high
122.
Higher scoring than that. That's low. That was my only thought.
This game will be sub 60 possessions.
I think it's efficient. I think the efficiency.
I'll stake your reputation on it, Matt, that it's sub 60 possessions. I can't speak
I'm
to
so bad at totals.
You coming at me on a best bet under?
I'm so bad at totals.
It could be efficient. I'll give you that. American is efficient. Lafayette can be.
They can both score.
Can be. Lafayette's a pretty good defensive team, though. Good luck, Jim, to his under. I don't have a side lean, I'll be honest. Lafayette as a dog's been great, but this is a pretty short dog. Chat mob part 2. Here we go. Matthew Cox.
Not a lot. Let's get to 2 weird main board games. Ohio laying 12.5 to Jim, Chicago State, who is awesome. This year's platinum cockroach. Jim, check the list. Who do you see on there?
Very top of the list, Chicago State. I don't bet their games, but I do like the under. I don't bet sides in their games. That's what I was saying. They've been playing really slow. I'll reiterate that. Bunch of unders in a row. I think the under got hammered against Ball State and bet under. It went under. Ohio's more of a scoring team, but I still like the under.
Kai, how about a question from Maddie B? Buffalo at Michigan State. 15.5 is the number. Buffalo's got athletes. I think they I don't know. Do they struggle to step up in class here, or do you think they have the horses to run with Michigan State?
Stayed far, far away. Buffalo's team, again, pretty erratic. Don't trust them at all. That got nothing at Michigan State. I'm pretty sure Hall's still out. I don't see him coming back yet. Maybe not. I don't know. Nothing on this game.
I have no due diligence into what the travel situation was for Buffalo or just the break. Just kind of a horrid situation up
Probably
there.
Not fun.
Probably not good. Yeah, just something to at least be aware of. Jim, Ryan A, New Orleans, Houston Christian, Jim, check your list.
Save that one. Nope.
Save that one. Okay, we'll holster your list.
Can
we'll
I mention a total? Can I mention a total take?
I was going for the total take. Yeah, that's what I was going for. Isn't that on your list?
No take on the side. Yeah, Houston Christian, every game that comes up, bet the under, and I say no, because they have the worst defense in the country, and it's just a layup line, and it's way too efficient every time. So staying away.
Yeah, I caught 5 minutes of their game. There's just no regards for stopping anything. That was tough. Kai, Gary O, I love this angle. Rutgers crushes Coppin State? ?
Yeah, they probably do.
I think so.
I lean their way. Yes.
Rutgers is a good favorite this year. That's my take. It
Justin
doesn't fit with your mind
again too,
but they're a good favorite this year. Yep. The Metric Panda, Lehigh versus Army. We did not talk about this game, right? This is one of the few Patriots I think we missed. Kind of lean toward the ground troops, Jim, staying with our militant patriotic theme today.
Yeah, I do too. Always try to lean towards the troops.
That's right.
And Lehigh without Jalen Sinclair, I think just lacks a creator. And that's a problem for that offense.
Patty Taylor, C-Law versus Vandy. Well, whenever Vanderbilt's playing a low major or mid major in a weird bye game, I like the mid major or low major in said bye game, Kai. That's kind of my handicap here. 15.5. Yep. What do you think?
I lean towards SLU as well, which is, I believe, how they pronounce it, unlike SLU, St. Louis. Really? I think Southeastern can hang with Vanderbilt today, or at least keep it within 15.
Last second, Jim with the under as well. Jim, a question.
Under. I like a lot of unders today. I can't help it.
We really talk about Clemson NC State total from Cody K. I think over is a great bet there. Kind of just hit me. Just dawned on me. Okay, well, that's all we have.
Let's talk Eastern Michigan and South Carolina real quick.
Yeah, how do you miss that in the chat? I got asked about like 5 times.
I did it, right? I'm sorry. Because it's Eastern Michigan. I don't want. Yeah, Jim, add that should be on the list. Put that team on the list. God.
Why do you want to bet either side in this game? Why do you want to bet either side?
Both sides is a bad bet. Both sides are bad.
Both teams are brutal against the spread. I don't like it at all.
You might get it right. You might be right
about
figuring out whether Bates cares against South Carolina or not, but I think it's hard to figure.
Probably
Eastern
over
Michigan
if
money. Yeah, over.
Over if anything. I don't know. I got nothing.
That's all we got. Let's sign off.
We're going to best bets. We're going to best bets, Matthew.
I don't want to give my best bet. My best bet stinks today.
Walk the pup right now? Good gosh.
He's not yet. Right?
No, he's up to Grimmer Kai. He's getting a bath. He's getting a fresh bath.
Tomorrow there are 114 line games, so I get it. All right, Jim, your best bet. Let's hit it.
Yep, already mentioned it. Under 122 in American Lafayette. Two of the slowest offensive teams in the country. It could be like 56 possessions. I think that'd be glorious for an under 122.
Do it. Matthew.
I don't think I even set this to the group, so neither of you even know what my best bet is, but I'm taking Marist as a short road dog at Fairfield. It's been bet down. It's kind of it's a banged into price, but the road team, as I believe, won 4 of the last 6 matchups. They both won at each other's building last year. I just think this matchup feels super pick-a-me to me, and I know Fairfield's been better form than Marist, and I've probably been stubbornly clinging to the fact that Marist should be more feisty than they have been. But I think they have a bunch of, or 2 beasts up front. I think this turns into a jump shooting contest. So in that like complete crapshoot of a scenario, I'm just going to take the dog. John Don, better coach as well, in my opinion. So give me Marist +5, the Red Foxes of Poughkeepsie.
Very good. Hey guys, can you hit the like button real quick? Can you do us a favor? Thank you. We really appreciate it. My best bet is New Orleans -1 against Houston Christian. Jim talked about the total in that game. I like the Privateers. Wow, excuse me. Houston Christian guards nothing. Mark Schlesinger, New Orleans head coach, he's had a lot of success in the Southland in years past. I think they can be a contender in this league, at least top half, which is saying something. And I was kind of impressed with how they kind of hung with Purdue for a half there. So I think they can get this done, win outright -1. Privateers, boom, best bet. That does it for our show. We are back tomorrow at 11:15 a.m. Eastern time to talk the biggest slate of the year to date. Going to be great.
Going
to be a great Saturday day. I'm sure the show will go an hour at least. See you then. Good luck on your bets tonight. Be good.